You've sprayed, you've zapped, you've hung the little blue light that promises no more pests. None of it worked, because the garden center doesn't actually want to help you. They want to sell you their latest Pest Destroyer 9000, the one that usually ends up killing the critters that feed and pollinate your garden. They want you to keep coming back. And the only way to get you to keep coming back is by making sure your mosquito problem stays a problem. Here's the secret. There's only one mosquito in your yard you need to worry about. The one loaded with hundreds of tiny eggs, looking for a place to lay them. And she is not interested in your Pest Destroyer 9000. She is sniffing for stinky, stagnant water that smells like a good nursery. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to give her one. You're going to set a single 5-gallon bucket of swampy grass water in your deepest shade. Dose it with a cheap larvicide and let that mosquito lay hundreds of tiny eggs that will never hatch. Here's the reason I trust this over anything on a store shelf. This isn't a hack I dreamed up. It's built using the exact principle professionals use to catch the mosquitoes that actually spread disease. It's called a gravid trap, and it was designed by Dr. Paul Reiter, a scientist at the CDC. Here's the entire shopping list. 1 5-gallon bucket, dark if you have one. A couple of handfuls of grass clippings or hay, straight off your own lawn. And the one thing you'll actually buy, a mosquito dunk. It's a little beige tablet, $1 or $2 at any hardware store. And here's the kicker. One of them runs this trap for a month, and you won't even use the whole thing. Now the build, and it takes about 2 minutes. Toss the grass in the bucket. Fill it with water to a couple inches below the rim. Snap about 1/4 off the dunk and float it on top. Then carry the bucket to your yard and walk away. Give it a few days to turn. It'll go cloudy, then brown, then start to smell like a swamp. That's the point. It's the exact smell an egg-heavy mosquito is hunting for. Then you're done. You might be thinking, that's it? Yes, that's it. You'll find people online who swear you need to add dish soap or cooking oil or a splash of bleach. Don't. The bucket already has everything it needs, so you've built it. Now, where exactly do you put it? 3 rules. First, shade. This keeps it cool and lethal for the full month. Second, keep it out of heavy wind. Mosquitoes don't lay eggs where there's a strong breeze. Third, put the bucket far from where you actually sit. You want it pulling her toward the bucket, not toward your ankles. Get those 3 right, and within a week, the bucket starts working its magic. But what if mosquitoes keep popping up? Here's the part I love the most. Once it's running, that bucket doesn't just kill hundreds of mosquitoes. It shows you exactly where they might still be hatching. Watch it carefully after a week. A thin ring of eggs near the waterline means you're winning. You're skimming the strays. But if it's packed, a thick crust of eggs forming again every time you check it, that's the bucket telling you there's a serious breeding source hiding somewhere close. It's pumping out far more mosquitoes than one trap was built to mop up. And that turns the bucket into a detective. If mosquitoes continue to show up, run 2 or 3 traps. Spread to different corners, and watch which one fills the fastest. That bucket is pointing, like a compass needle, straight at your problem. The clogged gutter, the tarp over the woodpile, the AC unit dripping into a low spot. You stop guessing where they're breeding, because the buckets show you. But here's the catch. All that intel, and the trap itself, is worth nothing if you make the one cleaning mistake almost everyone makes. It's the thing that brings the whole swarm roaring back a week after you thought you'd won. When the mosquito visits your bucket, she does not drop her eggs in the water. She glues them to the inside wall in a ring just above the waterline. And the eggs have a hard shell. They can sit there bone dry for months, just waiting. So if you do the natural thing, dump the bucket, rinse it, refill it, you leave the entire egg ring welded to the wall. And the second fresh water rises to touch it. It all hatches at once. The good news is that the fix is stupidly easy and takes about 10 seconds. Every time you refill the bucket, run a rag or a brush once around the inside wall, from the rim down to about 4 inches below the water. That's it. That's the whole secret to keeping it working forever. Pour the old water onto dry soil or gravel, and you're done. That one wipe is what keeps this thing working. Month after month. But the bucket needs a few days to brew before it's pulling its weight. So let me give you something that stops the biting tonight, while you wait. This one's free, and it's instant. Mosquitoes are genuinely terrible flyers. They can barely push through a light breeze. So set a box fan out on the patio and point it where you sit. It does 2 things at once. It physically blows them off course before they can land, and it scatters the plume of carbon dioxide you breathe out. That's exactly the trail they use to find you in the first place. The bucket is your month-long fix. The fan is your tonight fix. Run both. And that $2 dunk you barely touched? If there's water in your yard you can't get rid of, it's got one more trick left. Quick heads up. If your yard's already dry, you're finished. Skip this part. You've got everything you need. This is only for the folks with standing water they can't remove. The rain barrel you actually use. The pond, the pool cover, water that's supposed to be there. You don't have to do anything fancy. Take that leftover dunk and drop a tiny piece in each one. Same beige tablet, same month of protection. And because it only affects mosquito-type larvae, it's safe in water your fish, frogs, birds, and dogs might get into. So one $2 purchase doesn't just run your bucket. It quietly covers every bit of standing water on the property for the season. This isn't a requirement. It's the now. I'm absolutely sure move. And it's the whole reason. You never have to walk back into that garden center. One last thing, though. And it's the only part that's actually time-sensitive. It's nearly July. We're heading into the worst of it, and in this heat, a mosquito can go from an egg to a biting adult in a week or 2. Every day you wait, the population is compounding on you. Starting the bucket today still carves weeks of bites out of your summer, but you want the whole summer to be mosquito-free. So file this away for next spring. Start one in April, before the first generation ever takes off, and you never let it build in the first place. For now, just go do the one thing. A bucket, 2 handfuls of grass, water to the rim, a quarter of a mosquito dunk, and your shadiest corner. By next week, it's wiping away your problem, all on its own, while you do absolutely nothing. And then one evening, you'll be sitting on the patio at dusk, and you'll notice the quiet. The dog's not gnawing his flank. The kids came in without a single new welt. Your ankles are, for once, free of bites.